we're gonna record this as well for anyone else that wants to have access to the information. But first of all, welcome. The people that register, thank you for being here and for your interest in Professor Richard Medical and Dental Conference to Patagonia and Antarctica. My name is Ben, and I'm the commercial manager of Antarctica 21 in the Australian market. Okay, we also have with us, of course, Mr. Professor Richard Chen. You can see there as well. And also Matt Kemp, Managing Director of Outlander Expeditions, which is our counterpart in the Australian market. So let's start, and please feel free to, you have the option to do questions. If you have any questions, any comments, please go ahead. This is a presentation, but the idea is that we can have a chat as well, understand better what the conference is all about and what each of the destinations that the conference will cover is all about as well. Okay. I'm gonna jump right in, and this is the ultimate work life medical dental conference for 2023. I don't know, Richard, if you want to introduce a little bit about the conference or want me to go ahead, please feel free to jump in.
I'll come in after you finish, because there might be a few more people joining. Yeah, by then.
Perfect. No problem. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead. You know, this project started, I would say, a couple of months, almost like six months ago, between Richard, Matt, and me. We start thinking about putting together a conference to visit the end of the world in terms of Patagonia, and then the white continent in Antarctica. And after a couple of months of preparing this, we came with the ultimate work-life medical dental conference to Patagonia and Antarctica. So that's what we're doing. And the idea was to put two of the most unique and remote destinations that this planet can offer. Okay, and also do it in a way that will give you the most or the best possible experience. So that's what we're doing. First, the idea is to go to Patagonia. Patagonia is a really big area that covers Chile and Argentina, but we're going to concentrate on the Chilean side. And the main reason to concentrate on the Chilean side is because after that, we're going to go to Antarctica, departing and arriving from Chile as well. So to make it a very smooth itinerary, a very smooth program, we will be concentrating our operation in Chile and Patagonia, and then going to Antarctica via Punta Arenas, okay, which is the southernmost city in Chile. The dental conference itself, the itinerary is 11 nights, 12 days, okay? For the Patagonia section, for the Patagonia part of the conference, we'll be visiting Torres del Paine National Park. This is the most iconic national park in Chile. It's been there, of course, one of the oldest national parks in Chile as well. And of course, when you see some of the pictures that Patagonia and Torres del Paine National Park has to offer, you're going to be recognizing it right away. Here, we'll be staying at Explora Patagonia. This is the only 5-star lodge inside Torres del Paine National Park. And this is not only provides an amazing view of the national park, but also a very strategic position within the national park. So we are at the heart of the national park, and this means that when we need to travel to any of the corners of the national park, we don't spend a lot of time on a vehicle. So we maximize our time exploring the national park. Here we will spend 4 nights in an all-inclusive program, and we'll be checking in on the 16th of February of 2023. And of course, 4 nights, that will be until the 20th of February 2023. Okay. Through the presentation, I'm going to explain what does it mean an all-inclusive program with Explora Patagonia. But after that, after we explore the national park, we'll transfer to Punta Arenas, as I mentioned, the southernmost city in Chile, and from there we will fly to to Antarctica, to the Antarctic Peninsula, specifically to the South Shetland Islands. And this is with Antarctica 21. Antarctica 21 is the company, is a boutique style wilderness adventure expedition company that concentrates and dedicates exclusively to exploring the Antarctic Peninsula, okay? They also have some itineraries that go to South Georgia and sub-Antarctic regions, but our core and our heart is in the Antarctic Peninsula. And for this, we fly instead of sailing, which saves a lot of time. Actually, you're saving 4 days right away in a 2-hour flight from Punta Arenas to King George Island, okay? And here, the cruise is a classic Antarctica air cruise from the 20th to the 27th of February 2023. As you can see, we match the dates and we were able to have a very smooth program. And this is why you'll be visiting 2 of the most iconic destinations South America and Antarctica has to offer within only 11 nights, 12 days.
Yeah, Ben, sorry, can I just add at this point in time, if you're comparing other offering from other companies, and they say, oh, it's 16 days, right? So basically what we're going to do, we'll do exactly the same thing as we do, except in 16 days, or you just spend 4 days or 5 days traveling by boat across, and wasting a lot of time, you know, traveling to and from the activities. Yeah. So the whole idea of this is to save time and get the maximum action. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And that's a great point. We'll cover the details when we go to the Antarctica section of our presentation. But as Richard mentioned, the fact that we're flying, it means that we're saving 4 days, because to reach Antarctica sailing from South America, it will take 48 hours one way. Okay, so you're saving that amount of time. Then we have another factors, like of course the number of passengers, and then the number of staff that we have on board as well to make this the best possible experience for you in Antarctica. For now, let's enjoy Patagonia, where the trip starts. Okay, so we have Patagonia. As you can see here, this is a picture of Torres del Paine National Park, and this is part of our hotel. This is literally outside our hotel, and you can see what you're seeing there is the actual view from your room, and this will be what you'll be able to experience when you are there. Okay, to reach Patagonia, we need to fly from Sydney or from Australia to South America. The main gateway to South America is Santiago, the capital of Chile, and then we have a 3.5-hour flight to Punta Arenas, okay, the southernmost city in Chile. And from here, you're still not in Torres del Paine National Park yet. So after we reach Punta Arenas, we have a 5-hour transfer from the Punta Arenas airport into Torres del Paine National Park and Explora Patagonia. Okay, even though it sounds long, it's an amazing drive. So you are actually driving through Patagonia. You're not stuck in traffic or nothing like that. So it's a really good way to actually enjoy Patagonia. And here you will see our lodge. Okay, this is the lodge that we're staying. As I was saying, we are in the heart of the national park, and from here you will see the massif of the Paine, which is this mountain that you see at the back of this picture. Okay, and this is our lodge. All the rooms that we have secured for this amazing conference are having this view, and this will be what you experience on this conference as well. Here, I want to show you a little bit of the map of Torres del Paine National Park. What you see in the center, which is the mountain that we saw in the picture before, is the heart of the national park, of course, and surrounding this amazing mountain, you have these lakes, these ice fields, and then on the other side, you have a flat area that will transform eventually in the Andes mountain range. So the diversity in terms of places to visit and things to do in the national park are very, very big. Okay, we have more than 40 different tours to experience when you visit Explora Patagonia. Okay, the idea here is that the flexibility is the key. So every night we'll sit down with one of our guides pisco sour or Chilean wine in hand and discuss what you want to do the following day. It can be a very mild exploration, 45-minute walk, or just to the lookouts to take the best pictures. Or if you on the other side, you can actually have a trekking session of 25 Ks. It really depends on you and what the participants of this conference will want to do. Our idea is to have a couple of activities or tours that everyone does, so we make sure that you see the main highlights of the national park, but then you'll have the freedom to actually choose something different as well.
Is there skiing? Because there are some mad skiers amongst the group.
No, actually not in summer. I think you can ski in winter time. In winter time, there are some areas, but there are no lifts. So if you are a backcountry skier, I think it's possible in some areas, but the Lake District will be better for that, which is a little bit north of Patagonia. Okay. When we talk about an all-inclusive program, we talk about we pick you up according to your flight in Punta Arenas Airport. The transfers are included, of course, accommodation in the rooms, in the room categories that we described before, which is Cordillera Paine rooms, which have the view that you're looking at. Then all the meals are included as well. That means buffet breakfast, a la carte lunch and dinner. It's an open bar type of program as well. But the most important thing for us, and especially for me, is all the exploration with professional guides. This is what makes this hotel and this program and this experience a luxury. Okay, the flexibility to choose the day before what you want to see the following day according to the suggestions of professional guides, according to what the weather is doing, and according to the time of year that you're visiting, is going to make that your experience you get the most out of this experience. Okay. People always say, okay, the lodge looks beautiful, but we're not here for the lodge. The lodge is an amazing. You have these. Now we're talking about skiing, the ski lodge feel. Okay. But really, what makes this experience amazing is Torres del Paine National Park, and why this, and you will figure out really fast why this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is part of the bucket list of many travelers around the world. Okay, you can see here our infrastructure, our hotel, where it's located, what you can see from different areas of the hotel, and of course from your room. When you have this view, you don't need a TV. Also important to mention, on the room we don't have Wi-Fi and we don't have a minibar, but on the common areas of the hotel you will find an internet connection, and of course is open bar. Okay, so no problem about the minibar. And again, different the room categories to enjoy, but the one that we saw before is the one that we're going to be using for this conference. Every meal is something to enjoy. I think, of course, capturing the gastronomy and the cuisine from the region, and of course from Patagonia. So a lot of seafood, fish, and of course on the other side of meat, we'll have lamb. Okay, so roasted lamb is, we call it Patagonian lamb, which means a lamb that's been roasting for 6 or more hours, and that paired with a good Chilean wine, a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Carmenere, is what makes this more special again. Culture is part of also of this trip, and here we have some of the common areas of the hotel. This is not in the same location as the hotel, but it's part of the infrastructure of Explora Patagonia as well. And here you have all the gaucho culture, which are the local cowboys of the area. Okay. Again, a little bit of what you can experience from the hotel. As I was mentioning, common areas, very comfortable. The idea again is that you have an area where you can unwind or relax after a full day of exploration. Okay, again, the infrastructure of the hotel, indoor pools, massages, the spa, hot tubs, and all that. In reality, there's not much time. Every time I go here or have visit Explora Patagonia, there's not much time to visit this area because you want to be exploring the national park. But if you feel like it, this is there, and this put us in the category of a 5-star lodge as well, within one of the most amazing destinations in the world. Also, we have our own catamarans. We have 2 of them. That means that we can go to our private wharf that we have at the hotel, and from here we can actually access some areas of the national park that without the boat, without the catamaran, you will have to walk for a day or a day and a half. So that means we have exclusive access to some areas that are very remote in the national park as well. As I was mentioning, the culture, the Patagonian culture is a lot about cowboys, and horses is the soul or the main partner of a gaucho, the local cowboys. We have our own horses. We own, we breed and we own the horses that we use for horseback riding explorations, which again gives you the flexibility to choose. If you want to horseback ride, there are 25 horses waiting for someone to decide to actually go and experience that. So again, flexibility is the key of this program. As I mentioned, more than 40 different tours or explorations to choose from, half day or full day, from very mild to more intense, and everything in between. And as I mentioned before, each corner of or each area of the national park offers different things to do, okay, and to see. So here you can see more of a forest, bird watching is very good on this area of the national park. This is closer to the Pacific Ocean, where you saw those ice fields. All the moisture that comes from the Pacific Ocean gets stuck in the mountain between these ice fields and the big mountain, and you create these amazing forests, native forests. Okay, of course the glaciers are there, and a lot of ice, and we have the chance to actually get really close to this area as well. And everything with professional guides. This is the core and the heart of our experience, and these guys are always there to share information and to provide you with the best possible experience. Okay. As I mentioned, every night we sit down with one of our guides, drink in hand, and we discuss which areas of the national park we want to visit. If you want to visit, if you want to see wildlife, you'll be going to one area of the national park, which is closer to the Andes mountain range. And if you want to see more forest, the glaciers and more dramatic nature, is going to be on the other side, closer to the ice fields. A couple of examples: a half-day exploration to Northern Holt Lake, and this is what you'll be experiencing. Again, horseback riding, a signature experience from Explora Patagonia, and of course the amazing views that you can get. This is actually from here, from this area that you see in here in Cerro Castillo. You'll see that condors, which is the national bird from or animal from Chile, they have a lot of nests, and they fly right through, very close to you. In terms, before going to the Antarctica side or portion of this trip, we'll have, for the conference, we'll have private meeting rooms with all the equipment, and then Richard is going to be in charge of setting up the agenda for the conference itself. Okay, so I think at the end, maybe Richard, you can explain about a little bit more about how the agenda of the conference will take place. But yeah, Antarctica, I think a destination that is in the bucket list, I would say, to every traveler. and it's an amazing experience. The three of us, we have had the chance to be in before, and we know what it's all about. And I think that's the reason we're here today, promoting it and putting together this, because we want to go back. We always want to go back, and to show you a little bit about the experience of what Antarctica 21 as a company is able to do. I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I took on my last trip to Antarctica. It's important to mention that Antarctica 21 is a Chilean company. Headquarters is in Punta Arenas in Patagonia. We are in very close contact with the Chilean government, and because of that, we can have this type of infrastructure in King George Island, okay, in the South Shetland Islands, where you have a Chilean base, okay. This is important because this infrastructure allows us to operate in a very smooth way and in a very to have a very high-end experience and product. As you can see, we have these vehicles. These vehicles allow us to actually move all the luggage very fast. It's important to mention that when you fly to Antarctica, in Antarctica itself, in King George Island, where you land, there's no terminal, there's no airport. Okay, so you land and you are in Antarctica, So the adventure starts right away. Another important thing to mention is when you fly to Antarctica, which sounds obvious, but when you're there, it's amazing, is that you see Antarctica from the air. Okay, and that's a huge bonus point for a lot of people. So this is King George Island. What you see here, you can see some of the ships back there. You need to walk around 500 meters from the airfield to the shore, and then you actually board the ship.
What time of the year was that photo taken?
These pictures are taken in December.
Okay, right.
Yeah. This is actually the first.
Yes, basically.
Sorry?
That's about as warm as it gets. Yeah.
No, I think mid-January to mid-February is going to be warmer.
Right. That's really
right.
Roughly we're going to.
Yeah. So in February, then we can discuss why we chose this departure. But in February, you can expect to see more wildlife, more whales than in December. Okay. There's no rule in Antarctica, but the reality is that wildlife starts coming. A lot of the wildlife comes back to Antarctica to feed from mid-January onwards all the way to April. Okay, so but as I mentioned, there's no rule. These pictures are taken in December, and we saw on this particular expedition, we saw whales every day. So I think the difference will be the number of whales that you can see on any particular day. Okay. Even this picture doesn't show a lot of Antarctica. It shows the whole ship in one picture, and this is 64 passengers with 14 expedition leaders. These numbers are very important. Right now, probably sitting here listening to this presentation doesn't make or nothing too surprising, but the reality is that we'll see that numbers of passengers and expedition leaders make a huge difference on how you will experience the destination. Okay, mainly because the IATO, which is the entity that regulates tourism in Antarctica, says that you cannot have more than 100 human beings on the same spot at the same time. So with an average of 70 passengers and 14 expedition leaders, it means that we can disembark everyone at the same time, maximizing your time on shore exploring the wide continent. As you can see, this is still King George Island, but you are in Antarctic territory. This is still Antarctica. It's not the Antarctic continent, but it's part of the Antarctic region, and you'll start seeing wildlife right away. As I mentioned, this trip was taken in December, and we saw whales every day. There's having a smaller number of passengers allow the captain as well to have a flexibility in terms of how they manage their itinerary. If in this case we saw whales, the captain stopped the ship for 45 minutes. Everyone had a chance to see the whales, take pictures, and enjoy an amazing start to an amazing expedition. The way it works, what you see here is some of the expedition leaders setting up different routes in the different spots that we're going to be visiting every day. And here they go beforehand, an hour before passengers go out. They set up different routes, and then you have the flexibility to choose the pace that you are actually exploring the spot that we are doing the landing that specific morning or afternoon. How much time do you spend looking at the colony of penguins or leopard seals, or just enjoying the view? And with 14 expedition leaders for 70 passengers, which means a ratio of 1/5, one expedition leader over 5 passengers, is the most personalized service today operating the Antarctic Peninsula. Here, one of the expedition leaders briefing passengers in what you'll be able to see when you arrive into shore and doing your landings. And of course, here a little bit of what you can expect of Antarctica as well. Okay, here you see this picture. I like this picture a lot because you see the zodiacs, and then people that booked the kayaking program arriving to the same spot and enjoying both things, both the adventure of kayaking in Antarctica and also the spot that you're visiting in the Antarctic Peninsula. When you have 70 passengers, at the end, it turns out that you are with 1, 2, or 3 people enjoying the view. And this is, as you can see there, that's me on my knees waiting for this leopard seal to actually make a move or make some action or take some action to take more pictures, you know, and enjoy being very close to the wildlife in Antarctica. Okay, the rule says that you cannot get closer than 5 meters, but if the wildlife comes to you, that's fine. In this case, with a leopard seal is not recommendable, but in the case of penguins, if they come to you, that's perfectly fine.
We know about leopard seals.
Sorry?
I said we know about leopard seals.
Yeah.
Certainly do.
That's right.
They can get a bit aggro.
Yeah.
Spicy.
But as I mentioned before, as you saw, seals, orcas or killer whales, we saw humpback whales, Weddell seals as well. Then the kayaking, which is a part of the adventure programs, we have kayaking and snowshoeing in Antarctica, and this really depends on if you want something a little bit more adventurous, the option is there. Okay. Let's talk about now in terms of the details of the itinerary that we will be doing with this conference. Okay. This itinerary is called the Classic Antarctica Air Cruise. It's 7 nights, 8 days. Okay, as I mentioned, we start in Punta Arenas in Chile and Patagonia, and the first night and the last night we will be spending in a hotel in Punta Arenas in Chile and Patagonia. So day 1, we expect passengers to arrive before 2 p.m. on day 1 of the program. In this case, will be the 20th of February of 2023. We will check out from Torres and Paine National Park, and then we'll transfer a 5-hour transfer from Torres and Paine National Park into Punta Arenas and arriving into the hotel where your Antarctic program starts. That night we'll have a briefing. That afternoon after lunch we'll have a briefing. That briefing is mainly we'll give you waterproof boots. And also a safety briefing and how everything is going to go during your expedition. Okay, that night we'll have a welcome cocktail and dinner, and at the end of the dinner the head of the expedition team will tell you at what time your flight will be the following day. So day 2 of the program is specifically designed to reach Antarctica by air. Okay, hopefully between 10 a.m. and midday is the best time to fly. Okay, let me explain a little bit. To reach Antarctica, you need a 2-hour window of no fog, no low clouds in King George Island. Okay, so that's why even though our ships have a capacity of 100 passengers, we run our departures with only 70 passengers, which is the capacity of our aircraft. With 70 passengers is the capacity of the aircraft of 70 passengers plus 20 kilos of baggage allowance. Okay, any luggage that you take to South America that you don't want to take to Antarctica stays in the hotel in Punta Arenas under the supervision of Antarctica 21, and it's going to be there when you are back. Also important to mention, this 20 kilos of baggage allowance is mainly for the clothes that you're going to use when you are on board of the ship, because as I mentioned in King George Island, where you land from your flight to reach Antarctica, there's no terminal, there's no airport, so you're actually wearing your Antarctic gear. This is in more detail what I already explained, but in general terms, first night and last night in Punta Arenas in Chile and Patagonia, and then 5 nights, 6 days exploring the Antarctic Peninsula, which it means you have 10 landings up to 3 hours each one of them. Okay, and when I say 10 landings, it's 10 landings in different spots. So if you visit one spot in the morning, all the passengers and expedition leaders come back for lunch at lunchtime. The ship is moving from one spot to the other, so we can increase the number of spots that we visit in Antarctica. Okay. As I mentioned, this is a real adventure, and the adventure starts right away on day 2, or well, on day 1 when you have your dinner. But the real adventure starts on day 2 when you actually fly to Antarctica and land in King George Island, okay, where you can see here, and then doing the rest of your expedition. Some of the key features that we have already explained, but I think it's very important to mention again, is the flight to Antarctica and why Antarctica 21 is a very special program and itinerary. First, you see Antarctica from the air, and you reach Antarctica in just 2 hours compared to sailing that it takes 48 hours one way. Okay. Also important to mention, 1 flight per departure. As I mentioned before, the capacity of our ships is 100 passengers, but we only run each departure with the capacity of the aircraft. The reason is because if we want to fill up the ship, then we don't need 1 flight per departure. We need 2 or more. Okay. When you start adding flights, the level of complexity and the risk of not reaching Antarctica on the day that is scheduled start to increase. With 1 flight per departure, we have an on-time ratio of 81%. So that means we have a more than 80% chance to reach Antarctica on the day that is scheduled. And in general terms, there's a chance to have the rest is a chance to have 1 day of delay. Okay. When a delay happens and you need to stay 1 more day in Punta Arenas waiting for weather conditions to clear, we keep your same hotel room. All meals are included. We include some tours. As I mentioned before, our headquarters is in Punta Arenas, so we have a very strong contingency plan if there are delays. In general terms, delays are very rare. As I mentioned, around 19% of our departures. So out of 40 departures, we can say that 2 or 3 have a delay of 1 day. Okay. Then we talk about a personalized service. So that means that we run our departures with, in the case of the Magellan Explorer, which is the ship that we'll be using for this conference, with 74 passengers and 14 expedition leaders. So a ratio of 1 expedition leader over 5 passengers, okay? Which again means that we can disembark everyone at the same time. So you're never waiting for your Zodiac, okay? You're never, if you go out, you're exploring Antarctica, and for some reason you need to go to the bathroom, you can go back, an expedition will take you back, and then you can go back out again, okay? So again, flexibility is the key of the program. The landings, as I mentioned, 2 landings per day, up to 3 hours. And this is because the fast disembarkation that we can disembark all passengers and expedition leaders in less than 20 minutes. And of course, our new vessel, the Magellan Explorer, which is a luxury vessel, but it's been inspired in expedition vessels. So you have the capabilities of an expedition vessel plus the luxury or the comfort of a luxury vessel. Okay.
Very nice.
Perfect. So let me show you a little bit about the ship. It's our pride and joy. This has been sorry. This vessel has been designed and built by Antarctica 21 with the specific aim of air cruises. Okay, so that means that the ship can stay in the Antarctic Peninsula up to 60 days without going back to South America to refuel. Okay, and then the rest of the operation is all by air. Okay, just to let you know how things works. And we have cabins from 20 square meters all the way to 40 square meters. Okay, we have 4 porthole cabins, and all the rest of the cabins have private balconies. Here you can see how the Magellan Explorer actually looks. The reception of the ship, here's where you check in and you go in. Our observation deck, where we'll be spending most of our time when we're not exploring the Antarctic continent. Of course, part of the observation lounge is the bar, and the dining room as well. A very important place, as I mentioned, is you actually at the beginning you don't realize the first or second day, but every time you're having lunch, the ship is moving from one spot to the other. You can see whales while you're having lunch, so it's an amazing experience. And of course, it's all catered for a really high-end experience as well. Okay. This is the meeting room. Will be actually where the agenda of the conference in Antarctica will be happening. We'll take care of everything. Our main goal is to make that every presentation, every lecture, anything that we do doesn't interfere with the actual landings and your experience in Antarctica. So you'll be able to have the chance to do both. Okay, so you will have all the content and all the and all the information that comes attached to this amazing conference. Plus, you will have the same experience as the other passengers that are going exclusively for leisure. Okay. We have a library as well with plenty of material, and of course, there's a map where the ship is and where they're going to show you a little bit more the context of the expedition. Okay, and in terms of the cabins, I mentioned 4 cabins have portholes, and all the rest of the cabins have private balconies. What you see here is our grand suite. The grand suite is 40 square meters. You have an area that is the bedroom and then a living room as well. And here in this cabin is 40 square meters is very comfortable. You have enough space, and you actually have 2 double balcony and 2 bathrooms as well to increase the level of comfort. Okay. The aircraft we use to reach Antarctica is a British Aerospace. As you can see, The wings are pretty high compared to the fuselage, and 4 strong engines. So this aircraft is designed for short runways, which is what you experience in King George Island when you reach the South Shetland Islands. Some of the extras, hiking and snowshoeing in Antarctica. This is something that you can book a half-day session when you are on board. This one you don't have to pre-book. It's actually, it depends on your level of interest in doing something like this. And then we have the sea kayaking in Antarctica. In this case, it's a bit different. This one you need to pre-book. There's an extra charge for this one. But the key of this program is that when you book the kayaking program, the kayak spot is yours for the whole expedition. As we cannot guarantee what the weather is going to be doing, some morning you will have wind, strong winds or rough seas, and if you decide not to kayak, no one is taking your spot, and you're just saving your spot for the afternoon. Or if you decide to go out, you go out. The expedition leaders, they're used to the conditions, so if someone wants to go out, they'll do it. Okay, so that's a good thing as well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the inclusions. Okay, when we talk about the idea is this we chose 2 hotels and cruises that are all inclusive to maximize the level of comfort. In Patagonia, the hotel is called Explora Patagonia. Is from the 16th to the 20th of February of 2023. Here we deliver daily, full or half-day tours with professional guides. Here you have including breakfast, lunch, and dinner, open bar, transfers in and out from the local airport. And in Patagonia, in Antarctica, with Antarctica 21, you have a fly and sail program from the 20th to the 27th of February 2023. As I mentioned here, we have 2 landings per day, up to 3 hours each one of them, with professional expedition leaders. And this program includes, of course, breakfast, lunch, dinner. The drinks are included with lunch and dinner. Okay, any additional drinks or drinks out of that, you actually need to pay at the bar. Of course, the transfers in and out from the local airport in Punta Arenas as well are included, and of course the flights from Patagonia to Antarctica. Okay, both so return flights from Patagonia to Antarctica. Let's check a little bit. Let's check the cost of this conference. So there are 2 parts of this conference that will be included here. Here you have, of course, we divided in 2 because you have the Patagonia part, which the Cordillera Paine is $5,312 US per person, with all the inclusions that we mentioned before. And then it really depends on which cabin category on the Magellan Explorer are you choosing. Okay, so it goes from 15,000 all the way to 26,000. And as I mentioned here, you have from 20 square meters all the way to 40 square meters. Okay. So the total cost of the conference or the itinerary is starting from $21,307 US per person, and all the way to 36,000 if you go on single basis. Okay, on a dedicated single cabin and a dedicated single program in Patagonia as well. For how to pay for this is an initial deposit of, actually it's $3,064 US. The initial deposit to confirm your participation. Then we'll have a second deposit in January 2022, and then the balance is going to be 120 days before departure. Let's talk a little bit about safety and what's happening with COVID and all that in South America. Okay, it's important that to consider that Antarctica 21 and I would say most of the Antarctic operators, they have been running their operation within the regulations or what we are used now, what we have come to get used to, and after COVID world, that you have hand sanitizer everywhere and making sure that no contamination goes into Antarctica or comes back. So every time you do a landing, you cannot take any food or water or nothing outside the ship. You clean your boots when you go out. You clean your boots when you come back. Okay, so biosecurity is very important, but this is part of what we have been doing for many years now. Okay, now I think the main difference is that the awareness of these measures have increased, but they have been there for a long time. Okay, but we have created this the Antarctica 21 shield to make sure that our passengers and our crew is safe. Okay, of course, it starts with at home guest preparation. This means, in general terms, if you're sick, get tested, or go to the doctor. Make sure you don't have COVID, so you won't be spreading around the virus anymore. Then, of course, the arrival into Chile, or in this case, into Chile, and the pre-departure safeguards. We need to comply with the regulations of the country at this point, which we don't know exactly what it's going to be in 2 years' time, but we hope coronavirus is under control and most of the population will be vaccinated already. Okay, so 56% of the population in Chile has been vaccinated. So it's one of the top countries in actually having the vaccine rollout, which is very good news for us and you that want to travel to Chile and Antarctica. The Antarctic flight practices, I would think, is the same. The Antarctic flight, it feels like a commercial flight. The only difference is that your destination is the Antarctic continent, so it's been treated the same way as a flight that you will be taking from Australia to Chile. And then, of course, we are a small ship operation. The fact that we have less passengers in average that the rest of the Antarctic operator minimizes the possibilities of getting any virus or anything because of lower numbers. Of course, our crew and staff safety measures, everyone will be vaccinated. Everyone have the instructions to actually comply with everything that is a COVID safe plan as well. Okay, we have a doctor on board, so we have an onboard medical team, which is the person in charge of taking care of the passengers and the crew if something happens. And of course, our practices for life on board, which we also depend on every passenger to actually help us create a safe environment. And then, as I was saying, the excursion requirements, the idea is to keep Antarctica there as it is, leave it hopefully the same way as we see it when we visit there. And for that, we have all these measures of biosecurity that I mentioned before. So this is a little bit of information about vaccine rollouts. We did this a month ago, and 36% of the population in Chile was vaccinated. Today is 56. So things are improving very, very fast, which is good. Okay. When will countries will be fully vaccinated? Mid 2022. I think for the case of Chile, it's going to be late 2021, which is great news. Hopefully, Australia have the same case, or early 2022, which means borders can reopen with the level of restrictions more or less that each country will apply. But the idea is that we can travel. Okay, that's the main thing. In the case we cannot travel, you are not losing your money. We will move the conference to a later season or move it to later on the same season. So we'll find a way. I'll be here to take care of the group, and of course Matt in the side of the Outlander expedition, and our Australian counterpart, of course, here to help as well. Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So that's in general terms that what we're doing. Okay. We didn't want to extend too much this presentation. The idea is to give you the option to everyone that is listening now to, if you have any questions, comments, please go ahead. I'll give every one of you access to the microphone if you want, or you can send me a written question over the chat.
Probably at this point in time, I can explain how the conference program is going to work.
Yes, please.
The bottom line is the conference will not interfere with any of the Antarctica 21 activities. Okay, so somehow on the days when we're not traveling from A to B, like 5 hours on the coach, we will basically probably do maybe 2 hours in the morning. So instead of having a 3-course breakfast, you might be having croissant and coffee in the conference room. And again, in the afternoon, when you come back from the excursion, instead of getting drunk at the bar, you might have to do 2 hours of work. Okay, just to keep our treasurer happy. So hope we aim for about 4 hours of work. Okay, most likely we would have one presentation each time, maybe an hour and a half. We have half an hour of question time, and a bit of happy time after that. So I guess out of the 11, we'll probably have 5 days, maybe 7 or 8 days of those we will have actually work sessions. Okay, and so what percentage of that you claim of the trip? Of course, you need to seek advice from your own accountant. Yeah. So the bottom line is do it so that there's no questions asked. Yeah, that's my advice. Yeah, but the whole idea is to have a good time, enjoy all the adventures, and still partly tax deductible. Yeah. Any questions from? So, how many people have we got there now?
Yeah, so we have Kathy and Vincent Liu.
Yeah.
Christine Chan and Tim Miusam.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, I think
so. Yeah. So please, if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Richard, can you hear me? It's Vincent Liu here.
Yes, I can hear you, Vincent. How are you? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is it your intention to have some lecture time in Patagonia as well?
Well, yes, I think we should be able to do that. All it means is you might have to get up a little bit earlier, and while they're having breakfast, we're having our conference.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
From your previous trips to the Antarctic, what is your experience with insurance companies? Is it hard to get travel insurance to a destination like this? And let's not factor in the COVID-19 times. I mean, is it hard to get? What do you think? South America, or is there a special category or specialist insurer? I
got travel insurance actually through Qantas, and that was underwritten by NIB, the health fund. It was just like any other trip. Now it's only this time we had to include evacuation by air if something really serious happened. So I don't think it was in the general insurance, the travel insurance. I used to use one called Travel Insurance Direct, and I'm one of those people who actually read through the whole 20 pages or 30 pages of the PDS, and certainly very comprehensive. But when you're talking about evacuation by air from Antarctica, I think that's something. I think Matt, you were going to look into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as insurance, I think the question was is it difficult to find Antarctic Antarctic tourism is it's a happening thing. So there's plenty of people that need coverage, of different age groups and different pre-existing conditions. So yeah, a good search on Google will point you in the right direction. But Ben and I are going to have a look at some companies as well that hopefully can offer something like as a blanket policy that might cover everybody as well. So we'll see what we can explore from our end. But just on insurance, I booked mine through just Webjet. I just saw some travel insurance offered on there. I used to use CHI. And anyway, I gave them a go. I thought a company as big as Webjet, I had a look, I too read the PDS and everything looked okay. They've just contacted me recently to ask if I had any outstanding flights that can be reimbursed. They were prepared to cover it, even though I didn't have pandemic or epidemic coverage at the time. Wasn't a box I thought to tick. But
well, one thing I have to add, NIB via Qantas via NIB. As soon as we got back, we didn't do anything. That was the last thing we were thinking of, like the remainder of the travel insurance that we couldn't use. They sent us an email straight away and said, "Oh, just send us your bank account and we'll refund you."
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because they
I've
knew we
actually got
couldn't be careful.
NIB as well. I think they're worth looking at. NIB.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. Yeah, I mean nobody chased your money back. Yeah. Yeah.
We're unlikely to get travel insurance more than 12 months out anyway, so I guess if anybody's come across this and a good policy or a small set of policies, we'd appreciate if you could advise us, and we will certainly investigate that.
Right now, no insurer is going to write a policy that when borders are closed. So that's the message that I've been given. When the bubble starts opening up, you'll see that's when this can be insured. There is something to insure. But while there's a travel ban, that's I rang NIB off the back of what Richard had mentioned, and they just said, just like for the moment, we can give you a policy, but it's not going to cover. They're not even sure what it's going to cover and what it's going to cost as well. Yeah.
Yes. So I guess the idea is to try to get a policy that suits the whole group. So we try to insure ourselves as a group. Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
Or at least get a company that we can all, that will cover all of us. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, whatever we find something good, then we can just tell you, and then we can look into that.
Yeah. But yeah, we welcome your suggestions, but Ben and I will endeavour to find a good company as well that's going to look after us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ben, you did ask Kathy about her experience in trying to transfer US dollars to your account for the deposits. I mean, is it going to be the same little bit of a rigmarole, or were you asked to transfer to an Australian dollar account?
Yes. What I've done is when we send out the invoice and had all the details on there, I think there's some extra information. I had to sit down with the guys at the bank here and say, why are these people having trouble with this? Like it's like, none of us have got time to waste. So they basically said, you need to give them this, which was all the information that I'd given. And then they said, there's some additional information that the bank might ask for. Unfortunately, because every bank's different, they've got their own different ways that they process these, but it should be as simple as you can either ring up or go into a branch and ask to do a telegraphic transfer. So even though Bendigo Bank is here in Australia, the money's got to be received overseas. That's why there's a SWIFT code and the confusion there. It's taken me a fair while to, you know, bash my head against a brick wall with trying to find an easy way for this. But the reason we've done it this way is just so that we can, you know, you can shop around for your US dollars and get the best rate that you can. If we do it the other way around, it must be sold on the rate that we get that day, and then we have problems down the track, particularly when Mr. Trump used to tweet North Korea, and the, you know, the fluctuations in the dollar would be, you know, a little bit more wobbly. But on the invoice, when I've sent out the receipt for payment on the first deposits, I've sent out some information. I'm not sure if you guys have got it. Let me know if you need it. It's basically all the major banks. I rang them up and went onto their websites and got links plus a phone number for most of them. So that if you ever need to do it again, it should be as simple as a telegraphic transfer, which it's a pretty common operation for them. I do apologise again for the confusion. It's been a teething process to put this together, but it is for the benefit of yourselves, so that you don't have any shortcomings with the exchange rates.
Okay, fine.
Well, Matt, actually, I didn't have any issues. I did go into the ANZ Bank and they just said that we don't do the telegraphic, you've got to do it online. So that's why I tried to do it online, and then I got blocked, and then I just did it by telephone, and I had no issues.
Great. So is that a solution down the track to be able to do it on the phone? Was it a painful process?
That's fine, but I was surprised that big banks don't do it. Yeah, that you have to do it just remotely yourself. So I was a bit surprised by that.
Anyway. Yeah, I was too, particularly with Bendigo. I just thought that this, my bank was dinosaurs in this process, but it's not. I think it's just when it comes to foreign exchange, that part of it, it still lives out the back with, veneer walls. Like it just seems like a dated process. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I want to. Sorry, Richard. I just want to add that the decision to have the rates of Antarctica 21 and the hotels and pretty much every international travel program most of them are in US dollars if it's an international program. And with my experience, it's better to have this problem today that we have any confusions, any difficulties on the process of paying in US dollars. It's better to have it today. Now we know how to do it. Matt has been working very hard to minimize these problems. But if Matt decided to charge in Australian dollars and then conversion rates, it creates a problem for the future. Okay, and it creates the frustration comes when the currency exchange that the travel company is giving you is not the same as it appears on Google or it appears on your bank because they use another bank. And that frustration, believe me, is bigger than the one that we are having today in overcome the obstacle of paying in US dollars. I just wanted to add that for you guys to understand the mindset behind having a charge in US dollars.
Thank you.
But hopefully the information that I've got on the receipt from the last payment, please let me know if you don't have it. That will have do you bank with, is it ANZ?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll have instructions on there. I'd be like, if you don't mind, I'd love it if you could even have a look at those instructions and just see if they were the ones, or if they've even got an alternative way, if the phone gets a bit painful. But there should be every bit of the step of the way on there now. Like I'm hoping it smooths it out.
If I don't have it, I didn't notice it, Matt. If I don't, I'll email you that I don't have it to forward it to me.
Yeah, as soon as I jump off here, I'll send it out to you because I think it's a good one to have.
Do you use ANZ Private Bank, Im?
No, we were private banking. This was just general banking, but they blocked me because I went into the icon where you do the global banking, and then I got blocked. So then I rang up, down blocked, and then I just decided to do it by phone, and it was very seamless.
Yeah, whenever you, because I buy training models from Spain, and it's a pain. Every time I have to pay them in euros, and then when it comes, I gotta be paying for, you know, the custom clearance and everything. But that's, well, that's the price we pay for living down under.
That's it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, look, those of you who are already have committed to going, maybe spread the word amongst your friends. I mean, they don't have to come to a conference, but if they want to become a tooth fairy, or a pretending doctor, they can come to the conference as well. But they'll certainly come and have a good time.
Well, we have mentioned it to a few people, Richard. So
yeah, look, just send them the link, and we just could put them in touch with Ben. I mean, you know, I'm sure Ben can answer whatever questions they have. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
And this session is being recorded, so all the information is going to be here as well, so we can take advantage of that. So the idea is to have a successful conference, and the group, we have people that have confirmed already, so this conference is happening. So let's keep going. You know, that's a good thing. And when we reach, I would say, a bigger number of people confirmed, we can meet again. We can sit down and discuss any questions, any I don't know, pre or post tours that you guys want to make. I've been talking with LATAM Airlines as well to check if we can have a group airfare. A good, yeah, with them. So those things that we can cover in the near future.
okay, amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. Well, enjoy the rest. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you for holding this webinar.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you perfect. Thank you very much for attending, and I'll be sharing this with the recording with Richard. And please, any question, let me or Matt know. We'll be happy to answer.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.